Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I am going to talk about God or Allah, about its existence and universe, before the creation of universe and after the creation of universe, his existence, his physical existence, what Quran says about it, and how God and universe can coexist, and what was the beginning of universe. As far as Quran talks about, when there was nothing, then there was Allah. When there was nothing, then there was Allah. What does that mean? That means when there was nothing, there was Allah. Nothing means universe. When there was no universe, when there was no universe, there was nothing. Thing means anything created. When there was nothing created, then there was only Allah everywhere, everywhere. So I have seen some Muslims saying that infinity does not exist, but that thing is not correct. Infinity does exist. I have to ask from them, do you think God is finite? If God is finite, then he must be confined to some extent. That would not be possible because he would be contained in something which is bigger than God. So, which is bigger than Allah. So, long story short, the universe is not infinite. Universe is finite. God or Allah is infinite. When there was nothing, then there was Allah. Then that means everywhere there was only Allah. There was nothing and only Allah was there. So that means when Allah created something, he must have given some space within himself. Then he must have given some space within himself. And Allah was everywhere because Allah is infinite. You cannot confine God. God is infinite within his self, his attributes, his nature, his understanding, his knowledge, his love, whatever, his punishment. Allah is infinite. He can do anything. So as far as Islam is concerned, universe is finite. Allah or God is infinite, and there was nothing. God was everywhere. So God himself gave a space for universe to be consisted or constructed within himself. So that is a universe. Then what is after that? That after that there is only God or Allah up to infinite limit. Like I can draw like this, infinite level, up to infinite level. So this is universe, which is actually a part of a space given by God, and to be correct, even this space, within this space there is God, because God is everywhere. Within this space is there is even God, and Allah says in Quran, Allahu nurus samawati wal ard, that God is light, a nur of heaven and earth. Within this verse, I will analyze it later and show you there that as well. Within that verse, Allah talk about what is that nur with an example, or with tashbih, or with some semblance with something. Allah explain about himself. So within the universe, God exists. Out of universe, God exists. God exists everywhere. So the universe itself, you can say that is part of God, and God is its nur. That means God is its fuel, its sustainer, its protector, its maker, it's everything which happens within this universe. And God is responsible for that. And He is aware of every single because it is within Himself. Don't consider it one eye and not related to that thing. But the universe is like that. Maybe there could be some universe somewhere else, and Allah knows best. But as far as our universe is concerned, then it is just like that. Now we have established the nature of God, or his existence. So let's go to the universe, and I will talk about in detail later about God again. because God is infinite, so there are infinite information related to it. So how God created universe? Allah says in Quran that heaven and earth were like one, like they were together, together like this. Probably just when God created this heavens and earth together within Himself, they were just like that, and Allah just ordered them to get into existence, just like it's mentioned in Quran that Allah ordered the skies to be established. That means they separated them. That means He separated them to get into this, and it is like it is called a reversible reaction. You can say that can go into this again and can go to this again. Then one earth was it is samawati wal earth. Earth mean one earth. Then there were seven skies around it. The first sky, the second sky, the third sky, the fourth sky, the fifth sky, sixth sky, and then seventh sky. This ball, this big massive ball that become into like this, and Allah ordered this thing, this mass of matter to get into this thing, to become this thing. So it is mentioned in Quran that Allah ordered them. In fact, there was sky already in this. Allah ordered them to establish, and they obediently did it. And in fact, if we see that, that means Allah gave consciousness even to this whole matter, this big chunk, or this big condensed matter form. Allah gave conscious to it even before, because it is part of God, and it has some kind of conscience. Probably Allah just remove His will over His creation to let them exercise their own will. So there is a narration. I will talk about that later, about this process, and then discuss. Right now, I will discuss about. So when this happened, it become like this. They accepted, they acted on the order or the instruction of God to become like this, and then life came into being on earth. And there is another story. I will make another video about that, how human settled on earth. Right now, it happened like that. There was nothing. There was only Allah. Allah created the matter, a mass condensed form, ordered them to become like this, to be constructed like this. And in fact, he did himself like by saying kun, and it happened. So now where is the God? Where is God? God is everywhere. Here, everywhere. In fact, here. Because Allah is Nurus Samawati wal Ard. That means Allah is the Nur, the light, the life, the sustenance, the reason for coming into being, for heaven and earth. Seven heaven and earth, which came from Big Bang. So this is the universal model of Islam. It's the model of heaven and earth and God in Islam. And this is just diagram, and it is my explanation. I will go into depth with references to Quran and Hadith about it, inshallah. First verse I'm going to talk about here is chapter Nur, and then the verse 35, in which Allah is talking about Himself. Allahu Nur Samawati wal Ard. And Allah is the light of heaven and earth. Actually, Noor, you cannot say the light. It is light. You can call it light, but it is much. There is much more to it. So Allah, you can, for here you can say that it's light. Allah is the light of heaven and earth. That means the life, the essence, the sustenance, the the knowledge. You can say that. You can say all these things about this light. So his light, he is the light of heaven and earth, and his light, that means his existence or himself, is like a niche in which there is a lamp. It is a niche where there is a lamp. The lamp is in a crystal. The crystal is like a shining star. You can see that here. Allah is saying that is a light, and light is present in a lamp. That means overall, the whole thing is just like a lamp, a source, a light emitting source, or a life-giving source. You can say that sustaining source. So it is like a lamp. Lamp is in a crystal. That means crystal. It means a crystal. When you see a crystal, it is like it reflects light into every direction. So it enhances the light. If you see the meaning here, it is like a crystal which makes light to shine even more, and the crystal is like shining star. And now here we can see that I can give you an example, like Allah mentioned about a star. The word used kawakib, that means a star, shining star. Kawakib is like a shining star. So why Allah talked about here a lamp? Lamp is to give light. Then shining star, the lamp is like a star. So if we see our galaxy or our solar system, our star is sun. Sun is very shining, and it is the smallest sun probably in the whole universe. So a star is something which is very volatile, which is very hot, and sustenance of life there is impossible, almost impossible as far as the material being is concerned. But if something is created from energy like a jinn, they can exist on sun easily because they are created from fire, so sun cannot burn them. Star is like what does that mean? That means uh, the stars are something which gives sustenance, which give life, which give energy, and so energy source to almost all living beings. So, but these normal stars are material stars, and they need ignition. They need some kind of like a Big Bang, cause them to come into being, all those stars. So, and probably the people says that the matter was there, and that huge amount of matter, that they probably call it singularity. That huge amount of matter, for explosion of that matter, a huge amount of energy was needed. Probably you can say that when that matter was so condensed because of pressure or because of heat inside, but that is not possible. There would be heat inside, maybe, because if there would be heat, it would have been blasted at the formation or when it was created. But probably the ignition source was something from outside. The atheist peoples are scientists will call uh, scientists call them cause to Big Bang to happen. So when that Big Bang happened, all those stars were formed, and they got ignition from somewhere because of some reason. So all those stars needed some ignition, and there are so many big stars. And if our Earth or our solar system goes near to them, it probably it may suck it, or it may destroy it, something like that. So there are many black holes which can eat our solar system, stars, and like these things. But when Allah is talking about Himself like a star, that means He is the most strongest source of energy. I cannot call Him a star, but it is just like a shining star, which is the most biggest. Allahu Akbar, just like we say Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. So, as far as this universe is concerned, he is comparing himself like a shining big star, which gives sustenance and life to this universe. But as far as himself is concerned, he is infinite, and with infinite power and infinite energy. Infinite. knowledge like that. But to be near such a being, such a strong being with uh, we cannot go near to black hole which can suck us. We cannot go near star because it can burn us, destroy us, decomposes us, to maybe convert. It will convert matter into energy instantly. We are matter. If we go near, we will be converted into energy. So how come we weakest being can see or can observe or can go near to God, the most biggest and strongest energy source? We cannot go near to him. So next, furthermore, if we go into the verse, it is talking about the fuel lit from the olive of a blessed olive tree. Just like he's giving an example, just like among all oils, the best is olive oil. Probably we haven't done experiment on it, mentioning about olive tree and calling it blessed one probably means that it has some special characteristics over all other oils in on earth. So that's why Allah gave the example. Otherwise, it's not like that. God God needs some fuel like an olive oil or oil like that kind of thing. But it is an example. The lamp, if it is burnt or it is fueled by olive oil, the shine or the sacredness it will give, it resembles to God like that. Well, the location is located neither to the east nor to the west. That probably means that it gives energy or it gives light or it gives a life source to everything equally, like it is in center and gives source of life or source of sustenance to everybody equally. So it is not like related to some side. Whose oil would almost glow. If we observe that if lamp is little bit tilted, then fuel might not be reaching to the lamp. So it is not neither east nor west, that it is just like in center, whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by the fire. And next is the oil, the fuel will glow itself without giving ignition. The ignition is not the external source. You can the answer for cause and effect, like God is saying that every other thing needed or cause to come into existence, but here God do not need any external cause to come into being because it is already there and it do not need any fuel energy source like that, and do not need any ignition. Light upon light, that is talking about that intensity of that light is that it is continuous light, it is continuous source. Allah guides whoever he wills to his light, and Allah guides to this light to everybody who he wills. That means to understanding this light or him God is only dependent on God himself. So here I say to the people, to Muslims even, that burden of proof is not on us as Muslim. They take the burden of proof when proving God. Actually, we do not have burden of proof, and God has burden of proof on Himself because God can prove Himself easily by doing anything, whatever He wants. But He do not want that. He is saying that just believe in His revelation, believe in His whatever He has sent, and believe on Him unseen, and he will guide he will guide anybody to his light by himself, and he can show his sign, he can show himself to anybody. So I could say that the burden of proof is not on us. We have to share, we have to send the message what he has given to us. It is our responsibility. The burden is that, and we do not have to prove him. He can prove himself very easily. He's God, he can do anything. So after that, Allah has set forth parables for humanity. That means it is a parables or it is like an example for Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. While whatever speculate or whatever interpretation, whatever we can derive from it, but the real knowledge belongs to Allah. Only Allah knows about everything. And for God to be infinite and for a human to understand what something infinite is impossible because it is infinite knowledge. So we cannot comprehend him completely. Whatever he has told us about himself here, we can understand only that. So in this verse, we can see that he is the light of heaven and earth, and he's like a star lamp, and he is in center. You can say that, and he has given the light source to anything which come into being, and he is present within them, or you can say that everything is present within him, because God is everywhere. God is everywhere with his light, with his knowledge, with his wisdom, and with his nur, you can say that, because it is in verse. So this is the structure of universe from Islam, and I want to share one another verse about it. That would be Inna lillahi wa inna alayhi rajiun. That means surely we belong to Allah and to Him we shall return. That means we belong to Him. We always belong to Him, and whatever happens to us, we return to Him, or because we are within Him like that, and He is in our heart. He's everywhere. We have to just acknowledge him. Just so about that, when Allah says in Quran that no matter where you turn your face, you can find him. He is everywhere. So it doesn't matter which side your face is. Like if you are facing Kaaba and going him, you can do anywhere, but it's for discipline and for congregation to um, bow at some direction. Otherwise, God is everywhere. So this is just a rough video I made about God, and explaining all these things are very difficult in a video, and probably with passage of time I would be able to do it more betterly and explain it more betterly, as far as I'm also doing a researcher about it, and Allah is guiding me about it. So let's see what more narrations, verses, and uh, hadith I will get about this topic, and I will share with you some another video about it with more detail. Until then, fi amanillah, thank you very much, and see you next time with some other topic or more depth about this topic. Assalamu alaikum.